Here's what setting up a move in Lensmaster used to look like. And here's what it looks like now. Now, I've had early access to the new Lensmaster update, and honestly, it's a game changer for anyone in motion control. In this video, I'll break down the biggest features, show you a bit about how they work, and share my thoughts on whether they'll actually make a difference on set. So if you want to see what's new and how to get the most out of it, stick around till the end of this video. But before we dive in, I want to give you a bit of context about Lensmaster. So I've been using Lensmaster at the studio for over 2 years now, and it's the program that we use to control our motion control robots. I've been using that from the very inception. Lensmaster is a software that is produced by Camerabotics, and they produce software for the motion control industry in cinema, and they also provide turnkey solutions. So you can either get the software as a standalone package, or you can buy it along with one of their many robot products. Lensmaster has been running in its beta form for quite some time now, and it's had a lot of feedback from across the world, from across all of its user platforms, and a lot of development has gone into it from the developers. So Lensmaster version 1 is quite a significant release for the company. So as a brand ambassador and a regular user of the software, it's a privilege to actually see the journey and where it's come from and what is actually being launched in Lensmaster 1. So if you've been a user of the beta version, one of the most noticeable changes is the UI overview and the visual refresh. They've pretty much overhauled the way this thing, sort of looks and feels. It feels like a really, in my opinion, quite a premium product. It's got more of a darker feel to it. So if you think about, light mode, dark mode, this is more on the darker side, which makes a lot of things easier to see. It was a lot grayer in the previous versions, and now with this, you can actually see the text because of the contrast, and you can see, a bit more of what you're doing. So once you open Lensmaster, you'll get to this startup page right here, and you could either opt to start a new animation or open a previous animation. They've also got some really nice quick links here to their websites and resources. So looking at the main program interface, it's not too dissimilar in terms of the layout of where the major windows would be, or what you'd expect them to be, but they've tidied up quite a lot of things on here. Now, one of the key improvements that they have integrated in order to make it easy to find your way around and to improve your workflow and actually personalize your particular workspace is using these shortcuts. So basically, you can choose to display or hide what it is that you want to see. So the tools that are more important or most important to you, you can have them on hand, and it just frees up a lot of space as well. Sometimes on the timeline, if you just wanted to hide things quickly, so you have a better view of what you're doing, what you're focusing on at that particular time. We have these icons which are clickable, so we can show what we want to see. For example, connection manager. I think once we are connected to our robot and our devices, we don't necessarily, need to see that particular widget there. So we can actually choose quickly what it is that we wanted to see on here. And what I've done is set up some shortcuts. For example, I want to get to my action server, which I use quite a lot. And I just press the A, and my action server, widget now pops up. If I want to go back to connection manager, for me, I've set it up as C. And so you would set that up in the settings, in the preferences. Now let's talk about a major timeline enhancement, which allows you to actually build a move in reverse, or allows you to go backwards. For example, a lot of the time you're designing a move and you've set a keyframe for a particular point, and as you build the move, you decide, you know what, I actually wanted to have a keyframe before the first keyframe. Now, this wasn't possible in the beta version, and it's now available here. So for example, if we had one keyframe here, and we go ahead and we add another keyframe, we decide we wanted to, go backward, move backwards, for example, in that frame, and set yet another keyframe, we can do that. And then we can just change the order of these, for example. Or what we can also do is, if we have an existing keyframe, we can then move that back. Now, I wanted to mention another notable feature that's been added to the timeline upgrades. So for example, once you set up your keyframes by hitting S, you'll be adding two keyframes. You'll be adding your robot and your face keyframe if that is what is selected or added to your timeline. But generally, you've got your robot and your face keyframes, and you can link and unlink these. What I mean by that is that if we were to select our robot keyframe just here and move it about the timeline, you can see the face keyframe also moves along with that. So we can choose to link or unlink. And if you wanted to unlink it, it's Control L. And now we have independent control of each of these keyframes. So we can move our robot or we can move our face keyframe. And if we wanted to relink it, we just select both of them, hit L, and now they are linked again. Pretty cool feature. Now let's head up and have a look at some of the improvements to the scene editor. Now we've always had a graphical representation of the robot and the axis. However, in this new version, as we move the robot along, we can see we have this sort of a ruler grid that is appearing and that gives you the actual distance of motion, the distance of movement of how much you are jogging the robot along. And this is also true in all axes, right? So right away, you can tell if I'm moving this thing, 30 centimeters or 3 meters if you have that amount to reach. So this is a feature that would be very, very useful when you are designing and programming your moves. Another feature that's been added is the ability to add a keyframe from the graphical interface up here. So we've got two keyframes here and we're just, sort of sliding along the middle of here, determining where we want to place that. And we can also see a timestamp that is corresponding with the timeline below. We can see the cursor moving at the bottom as well, or the timeline. So if we decide that's where we want to place that keyframe, then it's Control click. And now we've added a new robot keyframe to the timeline. And as usual, we can go ahead and adjust. And it just makes it pretty easy to go ahead and create and adjust curves for, those orbit shots. And it just make it a lot easier. It's a lot more intuitive for getting those smooth curves when you're designing your shots. Now, there's a ton of new features and improvements, and I'll more than likely be creating individual videos that goes more in depth into some of these features. But I want to touch on a couple of other integrations. So this was all to do with obviously Lensmaster and programming within Lensmaster. But a lot of the times we have to collaborate, or we need to do collaborative work that involves synchronization of some sorts or integrating with other systems. And here's two great features that Lensmaster has implemented to make this a little bit easier. So the first one is synchronized shooting. Now, in addition to triggering your robot move within Lensmaster, so you press the shoot button and the move starts, there's a couple additional ways which you can do that, which allows for fully synchronized camera moves. Now, we've been used to triggering the robot instantly in Lensmaster, but now there's also a couple of additional options here where you can use genlock and timecode for perfect synchronization. Now, I'll cover those in a later video. I won't get too deep into that, but just know that those options are available. Now, there's another feature within that arena that really allows Lensmaster and opens it up to a more collaborative way of working. And this is the integration of the Unreal Engine Live Link. Now, prior to this, we had the 3D output, which we were able to broadcast the robot positioning and feed that down into Unreal. It allowed us to work in the virtual production world. Now, this new feature, which is a more of a direct and a more of a robust link into Unreal Engine, has been added, and that not only allows the robot positioning, but also can include things like turntables and other accessories. So the position of those as well is able to be transferred into the Unreal Engine world. And again, there'll be more detailed information about these features in future videos. This is just pretty much giving you an overview of this. So, I mean, there's loads to go through. Like I say, I'll be bringing videos in the future, but I think from this, my two main sort of, or favorite updates really is one, the user interface and the refresh. I know looks isn't everything. Obviously, functionality wins every day, but yeah, it's just a joy to use. It's just looking at it, it's just easier on the eyes. It's a bit more pleasing interface, and it's something that you can proudly showcase, to be fair. And the second one is really the ease of programming tools, both on the timeline and on the scene editor, where it makes it so much easier to adjust and tweak and build your moves from there. And that is it for this video. And if you are interested in trying Lensmaster, please reach out to the guys at Camerabotics. Tell them that I sent you. You can use my referral code as well if you are intending to buy any products from Camerabotics. I'll leave the link in the description below. If you have been using the new version of Lensmaster, let me know what are your favorite features in the comments below. And I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.